2001 Coleman Westlake pop-up. You see it has king beds, one on either end. What you're looking at here is a product known as Reflexix. It's custom cut. There's one on each bunk end. It's holding by clips. It won't blow off. And I can't tell you how incredibly this keeps the sun from heat of the sun from penetrating inside the bunk end. Also in the wintertime, same thing. It keeps it warm inside. It rolls up and stays in the camper when it's not in use. Here's a telescopic TV antenna pole. You see it had a mount at the bottom. It's permanently in place. Had a Velcro mount along the side there, and there's an antenna. It goes quite high. It puts up in probably less than a minute. You plug it in right there to the outlet, and you have amplified TV signal waiting at 2 cable outlets, all pre-wired inside the camper. Here's the water heater. It's a 5-gallon water heater supplying heat to the sink and the shower. And also there's drain lines. It's actually sump pump hose. It remains real supple even in the cold winter times. One on each side, and it tees together and goes out as one. Underneath the bunk ends, there's PVC poles that act as clothes drying lines. You'll never need a clothesline. These clip up in place for when the camper's folded up. And you just pull them down, and there's straps that hold about 6 inches low. As you see, there's 4 across the back and 2 shorter ones in the front. I think there must be about 30 feet total in all. You'll never need to use a clothesline. And here's some items that are hanging up to dry. Since it's underneath the bunk end, if it rains, the stuff doesn't get even more wet. And it's out of the way. It's a great modification. Take a tour on the inside. Looking at a 3-burner stove. There's a porcelain sink. There's a water faucet. It's a residential water faucet installed professionally. It'll probably outlast the camper. The one that came in, it was very, very inexpensive, and it wore out very quickly. There's a stand. That's a multiple-use stand. It's the same exact height as the countertop on either side. It can act as a TV stand or a food prep area. It's very handy, very lightweight, and very sturdy. At the end of the bunk, on one bunk, and this can go on either bunk end, is a shelf. It's a bunk end shelf. It just clips onto the side. You just clip it on or clip it off. You'll find many uses for this. No matter what, if you think you need this or not, you'll find out very quickly that you do, and you won't be able to live without it. 120-volt outlets right there in the ceiling. In this case, I have a fan and a reading light plugged into it. These cords would be dangling straight down in front of the bed if it wasn't for that plug up there. There's one on the opposite end as well. In this case, I have another fan and a clock plugged into it. Also, another power strip outlet is mounted to the bottom of the suspended shelf for laptops, for cell phone chargers. There's lots of things that I end up plugging in. There's another outlet strip I have mounted, and it's permanently mounted. Electric blanket control, amplified antenna is plugged into it. Now, on the dining room table, I've done a modification. It makes the table rock solid. If you're familiar with tables and pop-ups, they're very shaky. You bump them, things move. I mounted these boards, and it actually sits on the frame. It doesn't damage it. It sits right on the frame of the camper. This table is completely rock solid. One of my favorite modifications that came out even better than I thought it would. It means one table leg doesn't have to be folded down and in your way. Flush mounted, powered, amplified speakers. There's another outlet, by the way, TV outlet I installed right above that speaker right there. You just turn the speakers on and plug in your TV here in your iPod, and it sounds fantastic. Speakers never get in your way. It really does sound good. There's the other speaker underneath the dining room table. Another TV outlet I have put in. It's very convenient to get to. They don't get in the way of anything. Plug your TV near while it's on the kitchen table. Plug it in the other outlet if it's back in the bag. Look at the table Lego. You can see it's folded up in place. It's no longer needed since it's mounted to the frame on the opposite end. Look at all the extra room because there's not another table leg hanging at the other end for your feet. Now, storage is always a problem in the pop-up. Here's the doors that that have access to the trunk area. There's nothing in the trunk area while I'm camping. I fill it up when it's closed up. So I have a bin that I put in there, and if you use a bin the right size, you can get in there, and there's one whole person's clothes in there out of the way, leaving drawers available for somebody else. I cut a hole into this storage area, and put some hinges on it, and now again, this is empty while I'm camping. It's full when it's closed, but there's another place for yet another person's clothes, or whatever you want to put in there. Built-in VHS DVD player. It doesn't get in the way of anything. It's wired into the antenna system. If you put your DVD or tape in it, put it on channel 3 of TV, it's right there playing for you. It doesn't get in the way at all, and it's hardwired in. The power is and everything. There's nothing to plug in. I wanted to show you the carpeting throughout. This is residential carpet and carpet pad. It really feels just like you're in your own home. The carpet isn't secured down in any way, so if you want to take it out, use your carpet cleaner, steam cleaner. The pieces, let it dry out in the sun, put it right back in there, and you can keep it clean that way. It's, as you can see, it's wall to wall. This is one of 3 suspended shelving. This is a 4 square foot piece. It stays in place. It doesn't ever need to get removed when you close the camper up. It stays right there and it folds up. You don't never have to even remove it. This is above the dining room table. Never will be in your way. Here's another set of shelves, a larger set of shelves. You can really load these things up. Plenty of things in here that you can put on these shelves. I'm surprised that they don't put these in other campers. I doubt you'll see a shelving system like this in any other pop-up. Another set of shelves is where I personally keep all my food items. I don't know where I would put this stuff if it wasn't for these shelves. I clip my light to the shelves, and they can hold a lot of weight too. Now if you'll notice, it's a paper towel holder there as well, and on the corner of the bottom shelf closest to the sink, it's mounted to the sink enclosure itself, so there's no chain necessary there to be in your way. So it's all open right there on the bottom shelf. There's plenty of room. That turned out to be a great thing for us to have. Here's an outlet that was professionally installed. This outlet isn't all hooked up into the camper electrical system. It's completely independent. And so anything you plug in there, it won't work unless you go outside and find the plug that's mounted right below it. This is on the street side of the camper. The power post would be located. You plug a power cord into it and plug the other end into the 20 amp receptacle in the post. It's usually a 30 amp and a 20 amp. And now you have another 20 amps that is completely independent from the 30 amp system, giving you 50 amp capability within your camper.